Well, we want to thank the Assistant Secretary for those remarks, obviously, and also for giving out our first award tonight. As you already know, it's the National Community Reinvestment Award.
Thank you, Bob. The award I will be announcing tonight is NCRC's National Community Reinvestment Award. The National Community Reinvestment Award recognizes an organization which, through its work over the past year, has best exemplified the ideals and values of the community reinvestment movement and economic justice. The winner of the National Community Reinvestment Award this year is the St. Louis Equal Housing and Community Reinvestment Alliance. SLICRA works to increase investment in minority communities regardless of income, and in low and moderate income communities regardless of race, by ensuring that banks are meeting their obligations under the Community Reinvestment Act and fair lending laws. The Alliance is a coalition of 14 community-based organizations that was formed in 2009 by the Metropolitan St. Louis Equal Housing Opportunity Council. Over the past 6 years, since they were formed, the Alliance has done a great deal to raise the profile of community reinvestment-related issues in the St. Louis region, including creating a new atmosphere of accountability for financial institutions. The Alliance has signed at least 6 community reinvestment agreements with banks, resulting in some $30 million in community development funding for low and moderate income and minority communities in the St. Louis region. Along with its convening organization, the Alliance has also been active in fair housing and fair lending enforcement. Great. The Alliance has signed at least 4 agreements with banks as a result of fair lending complaints filed with the Department of Housing and the Justice Department. According to SLICRA's website, these enforcement cases are widely cited as major successes in civil rights and fair lending. Congratulations to the Alliance. Congratulations to the Alliance. I think we have Rose Eichelberger, the Executive Director of READY, AIM Advocate, which is located in St. Louis, and Elizabeth Rich, who is Director of Research and Education.
Let's get hands up. Let's get hands up. Let's get hands up. Let's get hands
So I also want to introduce our other coalition partners. We have 14 member organizations, but 4 of us are here tonight. I'm with the Equal Housing and Opportunity Council. We have Rose from READY AIM Advocate Committee, Janice Gage from the Community Action Agency of St. Louis County, and Galen Gandolfi from Justine Peterson. So this is such a great honor, and we thank NCRC for recognition and receiving this award. When we started our coalition 6 years ago, we were a little bit of a ragtag group. We were concerned about the lack of investment in our communities, in low-income communities and communities of color. We were angry about the state of our neighborhoods, and our investigation showed that banks with 0 loan originations from African-American borrowers, maps with clear swaths of land, particularly in the city of St. Louis, cut out from their assessment areas. We didn't quite know what to do with this and where this all would lead, but now we're a solid coalition. We have a proven track record of holding banks accountable for their obligations in our communities. We can see significant changes that have come about because of our work, our writing public comment letters on CRA exams and merger applications, filing fair lending complaints with HUD, and engaging with banks to come up with solutions. There are now 4 new bank branches in underserved communities, with 2 more coming soon. We see over $30 million of commitments, new bank products, more diverse and community-focused bank staff and board of directors, and 6 agreements that we've negotiated with banks.
And as has already been mentioned, the Midland States Bank case is our most recent and most successful one. Even though $8 million is going toward housing, the total settlement was $16.6 million. So we're pretty excited about that. And this was a result of us strategically using the CRA and fair housing levers that we have available, plus the partnerships with NCRC and Woodstock Institute in Illinois and HUD's Office for Fair Housing. Since forming, we've learned a lot because it was a growing process, sometimes very painful, but we recognize the power that we have and that can be used to influence big systems. Certainly, we have a lot more work to do, but we have learned that community voices, when they all band together, do make a difference in pushing for community reinvestment and fair lending. Our united voices as a coalition has made a difference in St. Louis. By partnering together and staying together as a coalition of organizations, we have changed and will continue to change the banking industry in St. Louis to increase opportunities and make a more fair and just economy for us all. Thank you.
Hey, who in the house has heard of Ferguson, Missouri? That's a suburb of St. Louis. Let's do something about it.
Congratulations. Let's go St. Louis. Right. Let's congratulate them one more time. That's the kind of enthusiasm that we really like to see, so I'm really happy. Really happy. Let's see, the second award the NCRC will present tonight is the Representative James Leach Award. The Representative James Leach Award recognizes the most outstanding rural nonprofit organization that best promotes fair and equal access to credit and capital, and or contributes the most in its community toward promoting wealth building in traditionally underserved populations. The winner of the 2015 Representative James Leach Award is Casa of Oregon. Casa of Oregon was founded in 1988 with the mission of building housing for agricultural workers, primarily in Oregon. Since then, their mission has expanded to development of low-income, affordable housing in rural areas. They are notable leaders in the conversion of mobile home parks. To date, they've completed over 1,000 units of manufactured housing, placing them in collective or co-ops. As a CDFI, Casa of Oregon has developed asset building programs and administers Oregon's largest IDA account program. An important reason that the NCRC wants to recognize Casa of Oregon is that in addition to its dedication to serving housing and wealth building needs, Casa believes that organizing and advocacy are the key to carrying out its mission. They work to organize farm workers and those most benefited by farm workers like growers and agricultural interests, and they bring those allies together to build their coalition. Casa has long advocated for farm workers and other low-income rural populations. Their advocacy efforts run from making presentations in small rural churches to writing white papers for federal agencies. They know and understand that getting things done takes a concerted effort on all levels. To accept the award, please welcome to the stage Peter Hanley.
Buenas, muchas gracias. Wow. This is quite an honor for a little organization way out west in Oregon. You've probably heard about us for other reasons than what I'm going to talk about. On behalf of Casa of Oregon, I'd like to thank NCRC board, staff, nominating committee for selecting us for this award. I'd also like to thank my family who came out from Oregon to join me today. So it's an honor to accept this award on behalf of CASA, joining the likes of California Coalition for Rural Housing, also joining Housing Assistance Council, and some of the others that have received this award. It's quite special to me. These have been my mentors over the last 25 years of doing this work, and so I really appreciate that you've chosen us for this award. While CASA is a relative newcomer to NCRC, we have been working with the organization on their research and advocacy for quite some time. Last year, we had a merger out west, a fairly large one, that we had the assistance of NCR staff. We didn't get a community benefits agreement out of it. We probably got to the game a little bit late, but just this past month, we did hear that another NCRC member, Oregon Opportunity Network, received a fairly large grant to assist in their training advocacy work. And as well, I just learned this week that they are establishing a program where they will be giving funds to CDFIs for the work that the CDFIs are doing out in the world. So I didn't know James Leach, and I know there's people here that do know James Leach. I've been talking to some folks, but I'm imagining he's one of those guys that knew you gotta bring people together. You got the folks far on the right and the far on the left, and you gotta work them. And that's kind of the space that CASA's been working in, working with agricultural interests, working with the farm worker representatives to bring folks together to create legislation that has resulted in some pretty amazing stuff in the state of Oregon. And you know, for us, you know, our heart is really with farm workers, but we also need to understand that a lot of these rural communities really depend on agriculture. I mean, we may, if we are in urban environments, we look to rural areas as our playgrounds, as the place where we get our food, but it is really a place, there is no urban if there isn't rural, and so we really need to honor the rural work out there. So when I assumed the leadership of Casa of Oregon 18 years ago, I went to the legislature to advocate for farm workers. And I was told by a well-respected lobbyist that you should never shame the elected folks. Don't do anything that would make them look bad. Well, one that is always trying to kind of rile people up. We decided to do something. So we invited all of the legislators out to the front steps of the Capitol and said, we know you support farm worker housing, rural interest, as well as agriculture interest. Come on out and declare it on the front steps of the Capitol. And we brought a cabin, a farm worker cabin, 10 feet by 10 feet, and we brought the family that had lived in it. And so there's the 20 legislators up on the front steps of the Capitol. They didn't see the cabin because it was out of sight. But the next day, the newspaper had the family, the cabin, and them standing up there. And it hit the national news, and that's the kind of stuff that gets action. So you gotta organize, you gotta educate, and you gotta advocate, and you gotta do it long and hard. I know it's a lot of work, but we gotta put it as part of our work that we do out there. So thank you very much for this award.
So you guys have been really good and really attentive, and we know you also came to eat. So we're gonna let you do a little of that, okay? So we're gonna come back and resume the program in just a few minutes. Enjoy yourselves.